Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. CAT is just a couple of days away, and VARC is a section wherein the fluctuations are the highest. Of course, in DILR, the fluctuations are because you choose one set wrong and it all goes wrong. But in VRC, if you attempt the same number of questions, like you notice that there is quite fluctuation. Some people get marks in 20s and then it comes to single digits. Sometimes it crosses even the 30s. So, how to get this thing right? There is no such technique for it. Even the best of the mentors I know of VRC, they also fail to score consistently with the same score, right? So there is fluctuation in their score as well. So it is not a big deal if your scores are fluctuating. Just pray that things go well on the day of the examination, and like you are able to do your best possible performance on the day of examination. So in this video, I'm going to talk about certain techniques how to maximize your VRC attempts so that you are able to get your best possible score. One thing to remember is the accuracy maintenance is very difficult. It is very hard to say. There will be very few people who will get 100% accuracy. In quant and NRDI, if you do things right, mostly you will get the things right. It is about how you solve the techniques, you apply your speed that matters. But in VRC, even if you are good, your accuracy cannot be guaranteed that it would be 100% accuracy. So the accuracy issue is the highest in this section. So we will see some techniques that how you can minimize that issue and some techniques to solve some of the question types. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media platforms. Now, first talk about reading comprehension. So, two-thirds of VRC section consists of reading comprehension. The biggest thing with reading comprehension is people go with the topics, right? Most of you must be going by topics. You think that, okay, science and technology that you love. So, if a passage comes on psychology, you are not going to attempt it, right? That is what most people do. People go genre based passages, they attempt passages based on the genre, or they try to understand the language and they see that, okay, if I am able to understand what is given in the passage, then only I'm going to attempt it. That is why many people fail to attempt the RCs which could have been done simpler. So it at times it happens that a passage may be difficult to understand, but the questions are easy. And sometimes the passage may be easy to understand, but the questions will be difficult. So instead of attempting that passage which has difficult questions, attempt the passage that has easier questions. Lesser critical reasoning involved, right? Lesser double negatives involved, because those are the things where chances of getting the question wrong is higher. So the biggest thing is, which many people will not tell you, is that people go by genres. Okay, some people will say, okay, आपको science अच्छा लगता है तो science वाला passage पढ़ लो. If you like reading sociology or anthropology or social sciences, the art science subjects, you attempt those questions. If you love reading arts and culture, attempt those passages. That is not the case. Try to understand the structure of the passage. So I'm going to give you the common structure types, and that will help you understand that instead of understanding why. See, no one is expert in all fields of knowledge. I may be good at science, I may be good at business and finance, but I may not be interested in psychology. On the flip side, there might be some art students who might be interested in psychology, philosophy, etc., but will have no inclination towards uh, science and tech. Or maybe someone is not at all interested in business and finance and encounters a couple of passages on that topic. So instead of going into your subject matter expertise, try to understand why the passage has been written. So focus on why and not on what. That is the biggest mistake people do, is they try to understand what is written in the passage. You do not have to understand a new theory. Okay, you do not have to understand the history of a country, right? You have just 40 minutes there. You are not supposed to understand that something happened in some western country, right, or some African country. No, it is not needed. What is needed is why is the passage written. So passages have basically these kind of structures. One is descriptive, in which the author starts with a topic and then will describe one trait at a time. It will include a lot of examples. right? So they will, in this the author describes the features, give lot of examples, will maybe tell some stories and etc. Now this descriptive can be in any genre. It is not necessary that it is going to be an arts and culture. It can be in science and technology also. It can also be a business passage which may be descriptive in nature. So let's say a theory has been described in detail. So it could be a scientific theory, it could be some theory in psychology, it could be something the culture of a country, anything. Similarly, sometimes the passages are chronology based, right? Now, chronology does not mean that the passage has to be related to history. It can be chronology of some scientific research, that how did research happen in the past, how it is happening now. Or it could be some theory development, let's say a theory of psychology developed over a period of time. So chronology means that the passage is timeline based, something of the past, then more recent features, then the latest features, and probably something that might happen in the future. Compare and contrast. Now try to understand that in some passages, the author discusses the similarities and differences between two topics. Now, again, it can be of any genre. It can be two scientific theories being compared, or cultures of two different countries being compared, two theories given by Mr. X and Mr. Y being compared. So, it could be compare and contrast. Sometimes it could be just comparison, sometimes it could be debate. If you understand the structure, then you understand that why the passage has been written. So probably you can answer the questions based on main idea of the passage. You will understand the author's argument. Is the author equivocal? Is the author inclined towards a particular theory or whatever? Then next category type is problem and solution. Again, that problem solution could be of any field. It can be a socio-economic problem. It can be a business problem. It can be a problem in the field of science. It can be in a problem in history. Let us say a country was facing some issues in the past that got rectified. So problem and solution. So first a problem will be presented. Let us say paragraph 1 and 2. One will introduce the problem, 2 will give the details of the problem, then 3 and 4 will present the solution. Okay, so that will be the structure of the passage. Probably in the last one, there will be one problem, maybe paragraph 3 and 4 give two different solutions or three different solutions, and in the last paragraph the author tries to give the best possible solution. So you will find that main idea based questions revolve around the structure of the passage. And also if you understand the structure, in how what manner a structure has been a passage has been structured, you will be definitely able to answer some of the questions. So instead of going into the genre, understand how the passage has been structured. Similarly, there is another kind where cause and effect, where an action and the reaction is given. So cause is presented and then the result of it. Now, it is not necessary the entire passage has to be of one kind. It can be a mix of both. Like, for example, there, of course, first paragraph is generally the intro paragraph. Some introduction is given, or some, it could be some descriptive thing. Let us say a theory has been described. In paragraph 2, cause and effect is being mentioned. Right now, effect creates, let us say, it creates a problem. So, in third paragraph, it could be the problem that is presented here and its solution is given over here. And problem 4, like there were two solutions, solution 1 and solution 2, and in the fourth paragraph they have been compared, that which solution is better. So if you understand the structure of each of the paragraphs, it is not necessary that the entire paragraph is of the same structure. Different paragraphs of the passage can be of different structures. So try to understand those structures. That will probably help you answer some of the questions, if not the entire passage. So instead of focusing on the genre and leaving it all together, most students what they do is they think, okay, psychology ka passage aaya, chhod do. They do not read that. They don't. You do not have to go into the subject matter expertise. Just try to understand that which of these structures is being followed, and you will definitely get some gist that why this passage has been written, why what will the author agree to, right? If the author is, let us say, presenting a solution, that means the author is agreeing with that solution. So this is how you can tackle the questions in the examination. So keep this thing in mind. Probably it will help you in solving some questions. Now, next topic, which is a favorite in CAT, is parajumbles. Parajumbles has certain clues, like sometimes you have obvious opening and closing sentences. Then there are clues like pronouns, that you need to know that okay, the pronoun has been used, so it might refer to some noun in the beginning. But these are not hard and fast rules. Sometimes the paragraph, the four sentences might be taken from the center of the paragraph, and it includes only the pronouns. Names and short forms. So always remember, if name is mentioned, short form will be used later, right? If it's a World Health Organization and WHO, so World Health Organization will come first, then only you will use the short form for it. Then there are linking phrases. On the other hand means contrast. So there will be some contrasting linking phrases. Here, however, is another contrasting one. Moreover means you are adding one point. Now, if moreover is used, like or the word also is used, it means that it is not the first property. So the author talks about one of the traits or example, then uses moreover. Moreover means the author is stating another example. So this is definitely used at a later stage. In addition to, we are adding something to the previous sentence. Therefore, okay, therefore means a kind of a conclusion. Likewise, similarity, comparison. Okay, so these are some keywords, and these are the keywords that are helpful in RCs also. So pay attention to these keywords and try to build the link and put in your answers. Then sometimes it could be chronology based, sometimes it could be question answer format. So always question comes first, followed by the answer. Okay, it is not the other way around. So sometimes there might be a sentence which starts with a question, and then the subsequent paragraph could be answering that question. Problem solution. So problem will come first, and then its solution. Point an example. So if an example is given, first of all, the generic point should be given, and then a specific example is presented. So these are some of the key logics that are used in parajumbles. And sometimes it is about subsequent mention. Okay, something is mentioned before and it is mentioned at a later stage also. So let us see a couple of parajumbles and the rules that we use here. Now, if you see these sentences, right, I told you the full form is used first and then the short form is used later. So, definitely, Indian knowledge system will come ahead of these two. Okay. So, let us try to formulate the sequence. It says, in its primary sense, the Indian knowledge system or Bharati Gyan Parampara seeks to transmit ancient knowledge and traditions into modern context for appropriate integration and contemporary applications. Now, this clearly looks to be the opening sentence, although it is rare that you are able to find the clear opening sentences in parajumbles, but sometimes it might happen that one of the parajumbles turns out to be this easy, wherein the opening sentence is clearly figured out. But that does not mean that the other three can be figured out easily too. Okay, so this is clearly the first sentence, right? Looks clearly because it is saying this approach. Which approach we do not know, right? IKS, I told you that first they will use the full form, then only they will use the short form. So these definitely are not the opening sentences. Okay, so what then it says, however, what distinguishes IKS is its holistic perspective, which where need categorization. Okay, that is describing distinguishes. Distinguish kab hoga? If something is there, right? You distinguish with something else. Okay, you distinguish A with B. So it means that something else has to be present before it. So it cannot be the second sentence, right? It has to distinguish with something else. Indeed, IKS encompasses a broad spectrum of works that can be viewed through the lens of both sciences and spirituality. Okay, the word indeed is used. What does indeed mean? So, indeed means like in fact, or like it is not, it is like indeed means like to emphasize on something, right? So it is paying emphasis on certain thing. And it says, indeed, IKS encompasses a broad spectrum of works. So it should be telling about some like what does IKS consist of. So it is paying emphasis on something. So something should be mentioned before it, that it should be, the sentence should be emphasizing on. So looks like a lesser chance of this being the second sentence. Let us look at the fourth sentence. This approach entails acknowledging the wisdom of the past, drawing inspiration and lessons from it while preserving India's rich heritage. Okay, which approach could it be? The IKS. Okay, it says that it seeks to transmit. So it is saying that what is that approach? Seeking to transmit ancient knowledge into modern context. Okay, so we are transferring ancient knowledge into modern context. So this is that approach that it is talking about. So we have 1 4. Okay, and this resonates with it. Knowledge acquiring, acknowledging the wisdom of the past. So it is talking about knowledge of the past. पास्ट की नॉलेज प्रेजेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में यूज कर रहे हैं. सो दैट इज द लिंक हियर. सो 1 and 4 आर लिंक. Drawing inspiration and lessons from it while preserving India's rich heritage. Okay. Now, when we talk about rich heritage, and now you see third point. I told you indeed means something. Indeed is used to show emphasis on something. Now, the third sentence is emphasizing on this rich heritage part when it says broad spectrum of works. Okay, so broad spectrum of works means it is talking about that rich heritage, isn't it? So, then three will link. Then, however is contrasting, right? So, when it says, however, distinguishes IKS and its holistic perspective where neat categorization are often transcendented. Okay, so 1 4 3 2 will be the appropriate one. So it is the contrasting sentence. So contrasting, it is a contrast, and that will be an outlier from the other ones. So 1 4 3 2 is going to be the order. Okay, so this is how one needs to think. And like if you have prepared well for the examination, you have done ample number of questions, you should be able to tackle such problems. Next is this one. It says this paired with its rapid rise and visibility in the culture drove its competitors to launch TikTok style features, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Snapchat Spotlight to name a few. Okay. Now it is getting that the competitors are launching something, and it's saying this paired with its rapid rise. So we do not know what is paired with a rapid rise. These auto playing videos, if you see, it talks about loop automatically, something somewhere the auto playing videos have been mentioned. Okay, and they are like some other formats are also given. So these auto playing videos does not look to be the opening sentence, right? So we can eliminate 1 and 4 as the opening sentences. We are left with 2 and 3. Okay, it says TikTok, where videos play and loop automatically, displays various numbers, likes, comments, bookmark, shares prominently, helping to create TikTok's sense of ambient, shared growth, and acceleration. So it talks about that TikTok displays some numbers like likes, comments, bookmark, share, etc. And that has led to shared growth and acceleration. So that has led to the acceleration of TikTok videos, right? Now, if you see the third sentence, it says the more recent arrival of TikTok sent visible matrices into a period of hyperinflation as well as heightened visibility. What is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation means rapid increase of something, right? Heightened visibility. So it is saying that something is going up. Okay, the something is becoming popular, heightened visibility. Things are gaining more visibility. Okay, now it says more recent arrival of TikTok. Now, as I said, that it is not necessary that that is the first sentence of the entire passage. It could be picked from a center of the paragraph. Now this is talking about, third sentence is talking about what is happening in the recent times, right? What is happening, and second sentence talk about how it is happening, or why it is happening, right? So the first thing will be what is happening. Like in recent times, there have been certain visible metrics and they have shown rapid increase, right? Heightened visibility into a period of hyperinflation and hypervisibility. Then it further describes, like it says that what is happening, TikTok arrived and these things are shot up. Now, why does it happen? How does it happen? Because it displays various numbers, and as a result, that helps to create TikTok sense of ambient share growth and acceleration. So this is leading to this increased or heightened visibility. So this is the you would say that this is what is happening. This is the reason. Okay, so reason is followed by uh, like reason follows what is happening in the beginning. So what and how or why this is happening. So 3 and 2 will make a pair in this case. This paired with rapid rise and visibility in the culture. Okay, so this is happening. Okay, that displaying of matrices and paired with rapid rise. So this connects the next sentence. This refers to what? This refers to that displaying of the numbers in the TikTok, and it has led competitors to launch TikTok like features. So the competitors, so now people saw that TikTok is increasing in visibility, so competitors launched video platforms like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat Spotlight, etc. Okay, these auto playing videos. Now these auto playing videos refers to all such things. Okay, so all these are auto playing videos. TikTok started it, right? It started more. TikTok started gaining more visibility. How? It started displaying various numbers, right? So it started showing that how many likes are there, comments are there, shares are there. So that lead to growth and acceleration of the platform. Now competitors tried to copy this. So competitors launched similar features like Instagram Reels, etc. And now these auto playing videos. So all these are auto playing videos. They came with their new matrices, right? New matrices. Like TikTok had some matrices. These different competitors launched new matrices. Omnipresent and always climbing. So that is the order. 3 to 1 4 is the order of these sentences. Now, if we talk about the para summary part, in para summary, the key is, so you will be given a passage and a summary. Generally, in para summary, you need to avoid wrong options. Okay, that is the case to solve para summary questions. So, what will the wrong options look like? Usually, they will be too generic or too specific options, right? Either they will give just that example part, or they will be too broad options. So, too narrow, too broad, you need to avoid. Avoid partial summary. Sometimes you are given a passage of, let us say, 7 sentences, 8 sentences. One of the summary talks about the first 2 sentences, or another talks about the central part, or one of the summaries talks about the end part. It does not cover entire thing. Sometimes the summaries given are against the tone of the passage. The author is in favor of something, the summary is talking the opposite. So these are usually the signs of wrong summaries. Let us take an example. So here's an example. It says culturals from the ancient world not only had unique gods and monsters, but unique narrative traditions also. So ancient world had unique gods and monsters and narrative traditions. Indian narrative forms are radically different from Western forms. Indian narrative forms different from Western forms. How? Seeger writes. So Seeger is some author. Watch a Bollywood movie. One moment the film in is a romance, then a thriller, then a musical, then a martial arts movie. Confusing for a Western audience, but natural for an Indian audience. So he describes that Indian like art form is something which is confusing for the Western people because it contains all things. It contains drama, romance, thriller, musical, everything. So Indian movies are complex from for Westerners to understand. Okay. Then he says he defines these narrative forms as eminently comfortable with complexity, non-linearity, and non-binary nature of being. So the person describes that these are complex, these are non-linear, these are non-binary. What is non-binary? Binary means there are only two states, right? Non-linear, there are ups and downs coming in those art forms, like especially the movies they have been mentioned. Where hero's journey deals in dualities, with the protagonist abandoning one worldview in favor of another, defeating the dragon, or being defeated by it. Indian stories shaped by Hinduism and Buddhism do not typically present their conflicts in the framework of a choice. So it talks about that, like in West, it is about duality, right? It is good versus bad. It says that, like there are dual nature. Okay, it is like there is protagonist and an antagonist, but in Indian stories, like which are primarily shaped by Hinduism and Buddhism, they do not present their conflicts in the framework of a choice. So basically, it says that Indian art form has been affected through these different cultures, and it presents the art form, especially in the form of movies, presents complex nature which is different from that in the West. Okay, so let us look at the options. First option says Bollywood movies showcase the confusing nature of Indian narratives, which are full of action and adventure compared to the simpler Western narratives. Right, one part, it talks about Bollywood movies. Yes, it is talking about Bollywood movies, but this becomes a specific example, right? It only talks about this Bollywood movie aspect, right? The person is talking about culture. So he has given an example of Bollywood movies, right? He says, watch a Bollywood movie. So cinema is a form of artwork, isn't it? So that is a partial thing. So maybe true, but it is partial in nature. It is just talking about the Bollywood movies part. It is not talking about the entire culture. The passage says that culture is different in India. Okay, Indian narrative forms a, if you read this, it says India narrative forms is radically different from Western forms. So it is all about the entire culture. Bollywood movie is one of those examples. So it is a partial summary. Indian narratives influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism are complex, non-linear and non-binary, unlike the dualistic and linear Western narratives. Doesn't it cover all aspects? Indian narratives. Narrative means storytelling. Okay. Influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism. Like this captures this part also, last part. In this thing, the influence part was missing. Influence कहाँ से हुआ, that was not given in option A. Option B talks about where did it get influence from, why is it happening, why is it different from Western narratives, because it has that Hinduist and Buddhist influence. They are complex, non-linear, non-binary, covering all those aspects, unlike the dualistic and linear Western narratives. So Western narratives are simple, they are linear and dualist in nature. So this looks to be an appropriate summary, isn't it? Let us look at the other options also. Ancient cultures had unique gods and monsters, and their stories reflected in these unique elements. This is just talking about the first sentence. Yes, sir, first sentence की बात कर रहा है. First sentence is talking about that ancient narratives, right? It is not about just ancient narratives. So this is again a partial summary, just focusing on the first sentence. Last says movies present clear good versus evil conflicts, while Indian narratives highlight the complexity of human nature and avoid simple choices. Fine, Indian narratives, human nature and avoid simple choices, that is fine. But movies, when we say movies, it is not specified which kind of movies, right? It is, see, in the passage it talks about Western movies. Now when we just use the word movies, it can refer to Indian movies also. Okay, second thing, that influence part was missing in the first sentence also, and in this option also the influence part is missing. So that is again a key point in this paragraph, the influence part. How did this happen, why this is influenced, why does this happen that Indian narratives are like complex, non-linear? Because they have been influenced from Hinduist and Buddhist stories of the past, and they have shaped the formation of such kind of narratives which are complex in nature, unlike West, where it is just dualist and linear narratives. So the answer is option B. So you need to see that it should capture all the points. It should not be too broad or too specific. It should not be limited to one or two sentences of the entire passage. Then the next question type is odd one out. Okay. In odd one out, it says that there are four sentences which are arranged in one particular order, and they give you they can make a meaningful paragraph. One is odd one out. Now we generally think that okay, they are part of one paragraph and one is outlier. So what will happen in such questions is, let us say there are 8 sentences in a paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have picked 1, 2, 3, 4, and they pick the seventh sentence. Okay. Now they will be linked in some form. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be linked. Now 4 will be linked to 5. As we move away from 4 to 7, the link may not be very evident, right? So 7 might start talking about slightly different theme, although the theme will be same, but the topic will divert a bit, so it becomes an odd one out. Okay, so that's how it's structured, and then you randomly jumble these sentences. Now we need to, what students start doing is they try to make the parajumble in this. You are not supposed to make the parajumble. Instead, try to understand that what it is trying to say. Do not find opening sentence. Maybe you will be able to plot the opening sentence in those, but try to see what is different in the theme. Now let's see this. If you use C as a parajumble, you will say that this will be the first sentence. Homer, some person has been described. He describes the sky as big, starry, so he's describing sky. Okay. The tints of a rough sea range from whitish folios and blue gray to deep blue and almost black. So he's describing the sea, okay, sky, sea. The simple word xanthos covers the most various shades of yellow, from the shining blonde hair of the gods to amber and the reddish blaze of fire. The sea and its calm expanse is said to be pansy like, wine like, or purple. Right? So, sea has been described. And then, fifth, obviously, is the opening sentence, which appears to be Homer used two adjectives to describe aspects of the color blue. These are the aspects. Now, you are not supposed to go into the meaning of these words. No need to worry about it. Now, if you see these sentences as a whole, they talk about some color. Okay, so they about the shades of color. Color blue and dark shade blue merging into black and blue goes to so blue gray. So this is talking about blue color. Okay. Now when you talk about sky, okay, iron or bronze because of its solid fixity. What is sky? The color of the sky is also blue. It talks about sea. Okay, whitish to blue gray. Again, the word blue has been used. Sea is also blue in color. Okay, the sea in its calm expanse is to be said pansy like. Now you do not know pansy like. If you do not know these meanings, fine. Wine like purple, right? Some shade of blue. Purple is a sort of blue, so it is also talking about blue. This is the opening sentence which talks about blue, right? Read the third sentence, right? You do not have to worry about xanthos. What is this? It is talking about shades of yellow. Blonde hair of the gods. Amber means fire. Reddish blaze of fire. So it talks about yellow. Or others you can talk about sky, water, everything. This is talking about fire. So it is talking about entirely different color. So they are describing different elements of nature, maybe like sky, sea, fire, etc. Okay. So all others are talking about blue. One of the sentences talking about yellow. Hence it is the odd one out. So here you did not need to make an order. You do not have to make an order. What is the right order of the other four sentences? You just have to find which has slightly different theme. So they are describing things. In four of the sentences, the things described are blue color, and one of the sentences talks about yellow colored thing. Now, these are different kinds. Then you have sentence filler, which is obviously an easy one. Easiest of this all, just the rules of parajumbles apply over there. Just see that it is how it is connected to the previous and the next sentence. In order to maximize your score in this section, you must maximize attempts. As I said previously also, it is difficult to have 100% accuracy. So if you think that you will attempt just 12 questions and get all right, it might be difficult. So let us say if you attempt 12 questions, okay, and you get 10 correct, and let's say your non-theta go wrong and 2 incorrect. So in that case, your score will be 30 minus 2, that is 28. But if you have, let us say, 18 questions and you get, let us say, 13 correct, okay, or you have higher chances, or let us say you just got 12 correct. 12 correct and 6 incorrect. So your score will be 36 minus 6, and we are assuming that the non-theta is getting incorrect, right? If theta gets wrong, you do not lose any marks. So in this case, you are able to score 30. So you see that even though your accuracy is dipping, your score is going up. Ultimately, what matters is your final score. People will say that if your accuracy is less, your percentile will be affected. No, it is about the raw score. So the more you score, the more percentile you get. It is not about accuracy. So even if you attempt 24 questions, you get 12 correct, it is your eventual score that is going to be calculated. Now, maximizing attempts will help you beat that accuracy thing. Of course, it should not be very random. It should not be like you mark everything randomly. You have to attempt sensibly. It is not that ki random mark karna hai. Okay? So try to maximize attempt, because it is difficult to gain accuracy here. So in this video, I discuss about some of the techniques to filter out the answers, how to get answers to the problems, and try to tackle those. Attempt all theta like parajumble and odd one out. These are theta questions. So 2 and 2, 4 questions you will get. So attempt all these 4. Even if you are not able to solve it completely, like even if you are stuck in parajumble, at least out of 4 sentences you will get the order of 2 correct. I mean, it you won't be such bad unless you have not studied anything. You won't be such bad that you will not be able to get entire thing out. So it's just that maybe instead of 1432, you got the order as 1423. It might be that possibility that 1 or 2 sentences might alter. So try to attempt parajumbles odd one out, okay, because you are not losing any marks over there. Now, the attempt strategy is RCVA, RC. Some people say that 2 RCs, or should we attempt 1 RC, all VA, 3 RCs, no VA, etc. What I would suggest is attempt an RC, note the time, okay, then attempt some VA questions, right? Not all, if not all. Attempt RCs, leave some time for VA questions in the end. Let's say, just taking an example, let's say you took 12 minutes to attempt an RC. Okay, then you did some questions, or it is not that you have to attempt 2 RCs, you can attempt 3 RCs, 4 RCs also. So you attempted 2 RCs. Okay, so let us say you attempted 2 RCs in the beginning, your speed is decent enough. So 2 RCs, you took 12 and 9 minutes. So 21 minutes are gone, you are left with 19 minutes. Now VA, you did 6 out of 8. Okay, 6 easily doable ones. The ones you found doable, you were able to solve. So you did 6 questions. So it took, let us say, another 10 minutes. Okay, 31 minutes are left. So leave time such that you are not stuck in mid of the passage. Okay, so let us say you, while attempting 8 questions, so you did 6 questions you were able to do in 10 minutes. If you were to attempt 8 questions, let us say it took 13 minutes. पर अगर आप ये चॉइस करोगे कि 13 मिनट्स कर लोगे, so you will be left with just 6 minutes, and in that you cannot complete the RC. But if you apply this approach, so let's say you did 6 questions of VA, now you are left with 9 minutes in which you can probably attempt that RC. So what I mean to say is that your attempt should be in such a manner so that the last question you are attempting should not be an RC, or you should have ample time to attempt that last RC that you are attempting. You should not be stuck between a RC in the end. Like it should not be like you were left with 5 minutes and you are reading a passage, okay, and you are unable to read that passage or unable to attempt any of the questions. So manage your time such that either you are left with individual questions towards the end, or like if you are able to attempt all 24 questions, great, or whatever be the number of questions that will happen in the paper. So ensure that like last में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आधा passage छूट गया. That is the most painful thing. So manage your time accordingly. Keep a check that how much time on an average, if you have attempted mocks, you obviously know your speed, right? At what speed do you solve passages? So know your speeds. So what I mean to say is leave some VA questions for the end. Do not like leave an RC in between towards the end, right? So you can attempt all 4 RCs in the beginning. Let's say you are RC friendly, you do not like attempting VA, 4 RCs and then VA questions, or 3 RCs and VA questions. So your attempt could be RC, 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 then VA, all, like you try to go all in. Let's say you did 4 questions of RCs, and then you tried to do some 6 to 7 VA questions. Or it could be 4 plus 4 RCs. Then VA you do 5 questions. Then again RC of 4 questions. Then some VA questions, 1 or 2 questions you are able to do. So it should not be like you complete VA 8 questions and then RC. So you did 4 questions here. Now in this RC you end up reading the passage but unable to answer the question. This should be the worst strategy. Okay, so what I mean to say is start with RC. You can start with VA also. Keep some VA in buffer for the end. Okay, so that you are not stuck midway in an RC at the end of this section. Okay, because sections switch immediately, then you cannot come back to the section and then you are engrossed in the DILR part. So these are some of the techniques that you can apply in the VRC section to maximize your score. Rest is up to your preparation level, how you have prepared for the examination. I wish you all the best for CAT 2024, and I'll be coming live on our Instagram channel on the day of the examination doing the exam analysis. And in case you are preparing for ZAT, also we have a crash course for CAT and ZAT combined, which is running, and you can enroll in the same, and you will get like the recordings of the classes that we've had. We will be covering DM is yet to be covered in this course, DM plus some ZAT specific classes, and you will be getting access to a ZAT mocks, DM test, and grammar practice course. And in case you are a CAT 2025 aspirant or know someone who is preparing for CAT 2025, you can recommend our course to them. The course price is just 15,000. So it's a self-paced recorded course for CAT and OMETs, right? It will cover basics to advanced, all things. And topic wise, you will get practice sheets, doubt resolution group. There will be some live doubt solving sessions. In VA, we will cover grammar and vocab also apart from what is asked in CAT. And in LR, OMET topics will also be covered like blood relations, syllogisms, okay, directions, coding, decoding, input, output, etc. All shall be covered in this course. So it's a complete course if you're targeting MBA entrance examinations for the next year. So the price is 15,000. It is valid till 31st of March 2026. And we are offering it for the first 100 students for just 12,000. So you can, if you wish to enroll in it or know someone, you can tell them fast so that they get it at an unbeatable price. And we have section wise also available. You can check it out. The links are given in the description of this video. So you can check it out our site if you wish to enroll in section specific courses for CAT and other MBA exams of 25-26. So this was about the strategy how to tackle VRC section of CAT. It is a fluctuating section, but the most important thing which I mean to tell you is a couple of pointers. First is that in odd one out, do not try to make the parajumble. And secondly, in RCs, do not go by genre. Try to understand the structure of the passage, see the questions. You do not have to understand what is written in the passage. You need to understand why the passage has been written. Is the author comparing two things? Is the author describing some theory or what has been done in the passage? Just the structure part, and you will realize that you are able to answer some of the questions without even understanding the contents of the passage. So you need to understand the context, not the content. Wish you all the best for CAT, and don't forget to join our analysis session on the day of the examination.